As soon as she walked in, it was like a light bulb went off and the sun was on.
At 75, after a lifetime of fame, fortune, and heartbreak, Richard Gere finally spoke the words that revealed the truth behind his journey in love. In a rare and deeply emotional confession, the Hollywood icon admitted that it wasn't his partners who failed him. It was his own unprepared heart. After years of searching, losing, and learning, Gere discovered that true love isn't about finding the perfect partner, but about becoming the right man at the right time. And when he did, he found the love he had been waiting for all along. Richard Gere had loved some of the world's most beautiful women, married a top supermodel, and been adored by both the cinema world and the media. Yet it wasn't until he neared 70 that he found a love he didn't have to chase, a relationship that didn't require performance, and a woman who didn't want to change him, but simply stay. Gere called her the true love of his life. This isn't just the romantic tale of a movie star. It's the journey of a man, from fame to solitude, from insecurity to serenity, from control to understanding. A man who learned to love not by instinct, but through growth. Before he became an icon of romance on the silver screen, Richard Gere was just a lanky boy from Pennsylvania, a boy who played the trumpet, composed music for school plays, and studied philosophy at the University of Massachusetts. But theater pulled him away, offering the chance to live different lives on stage. Early on, Richard became used to playing the charming man, not only for roles, but in real life. With his disarming looks and quiet, mysterious demeanor, women were never far away. Yet, like definitions he always slipped through, his early romances burned bright but short. From Carol Mallory, the fiery model who called him a jewel shooting across the sky, to Dawn Steele, the future trailblazing studio head, and Penelope Milford, his Days of Heaven co-star. Richard's love life was a whirlwind. His deeply impactful relationship with Sylvia Martins introduced him to Buddhism, Nepal, and meditation, opening doors to a new spiritual path. But even among brilliant, daring women, love for Gere in those days was fleeting, a chapter of self-discovery rather than a destination. As his career soared with Looking for Mr. Goodbar, Days of Heaven, and American Gigolo, Richard lived fast and remained emotionally unanchored. Parties, paparazzi, and hotel rooms blurred into a portrait of a man dazzling on the outside, yet hollow within. He wasn't ready to settle. He didn't even know what he truly needed. Love came, love went. Nothing and no one stayed. Then in 1988, at a barbecue hosted by photographer Herb Ritz, 39-year-old Richard Gere met 22-year-old Cindy Crawford. Fresh off the covers of every major fashion magazine, they came from different worlds. He was Hollywood's cool, elegant star. She, the fresh face of America's beauty. Their romance was swift, deep, and public. Moving in together in New York, they quickly became an iconic couple of the early 90s. Glamorous, golden, envied. But behind the glitter, two souls moved at different speeds. Cindy was still figuring herself out, running from photo shoots to promotions, struggling to separate her real self from her public image. Richard, after decades in the spotlight, craved peace, meditation, and stillness. They married spontaneously in 1991 in Las Vegas. No guests, no grand spectacle. Just two people trying to cling to something slipping away. But marriage cannot cure emotional distance. While Richard meditated, Cindy boarded planes. She later admitted, "I tried to become the woman he needed and lost myself in the process." There was no betrayal, no scandal, just growing silence. By 1995, they quietly divorced. The media, baffled, had no scandal to report, only questions. Decades later, Richard explained simply, "I loved a woman who didn't yet know who she was, and I thought love could fix that. But that was unfair. No one was wrong. We just met at the wrong time." After Cindy, Richard withdrew from the glamorous dating scene. No more magazine covers alongside young supermodels. He immersed himself deeper into meditation, humanitarian work, and careful film choices. Then, Like a soft breeze after a storm, he met Carrie, the serene former Bond girl from License to Kill. No flash, no frenzy. They began dating in 1995, living quietly, and in 2000, their son, Homer James Jigme Gere, was born. At 51, Richard became a father. They married in 2002, quietly, away from media buzz, choosing life in Pound Ridge, New York, a life of vegetable gardens, books, selective acting, and spiritual retreats. Yet sometimes calm hides cracks. While Richard spent hours in silence, meditating or retreating in Nepal, Carrie still craved connection and movement. As years passed, they appeared less together at events. The growing distance became obvious. In 2013, Carrie filed for divorce after 11 years of marriage, citing irreconcilable differences. Those close to them hinted at deeper issues. Carrie feeling shut out, while Richard mistook silence for peace. The divorce dragged on for 3 years, not over love, but over assets worth $45 million and multiple homes. Amid the legal battles, they at least agreed on one thing: co-parenting their sensitive, calm son, Homer. After the divorce, Richard vanished from the public eye. No red carpets, no interviews. Many assumed he would live the rest of his life quietly, alone. But life had another chapter waiting. In 2014, while his divorce from Carrie was still pending, Richard briefly connected with Padma Lakshmi, model, author, and host of Top Chef. Their relationship never made major headlines. They met at a charity event, enjoyed long conversations and quiet dinners, but understood they were at different places. Richard craved stillness. Padma was still vibrant, immersed in the energy of television and international travel. They parted amicably after 6 months, remaining friends. It wasn't scandalous, just two lives that couldn't align. From that relationship, Richard learned something. Harmony can't be forced, and love alone doesn't always make two people stay. Perhaps most importantly, he stopped searching. And it was precisely then, when he wasn't looking, that true love found him. Alejandra Silva entered his life gently, without noise or urgency. She wasn't as world-famous as Cindy Crawford, nor seasoned in Hollywood like Carrie. Alejandra was a soft-spoken Spanish activist, with kind eyes and a compassionate heart. Having just ended her own marriage and raising a child alone, Alejandra was leading the Rise Foundation in Madrid, fighting homelessness. She once said, "I don't do charity work to be seen. If I can't give my whole self to it, I'd rather not do it at all." In 2014, they met again at a hotel owned by Alejandra's family in Positano, Italy. Both were buried in divorce proceedings, emotionally weary. Flowers every day, handwritten songs, gentle patience. Alejandra initially resisted, worried about the 33-year age gap, the fame, the expectations. But Richard didn't push. He simply waited. Eventually, she realized this wasn't another glamorous romance. Richard Gere, the man who spent decades dazzling the world yet feeling hollow, had finally found not just love, but peace. It wasn't the culmination of a Hollywood love story. It was something much rarer, the journey of a man learning that true love isn't about passion, performance, or timing. It's about growing into someone who is finally ready to stay. Quietly, patiently, forever. If you were moved by Richard Gere's heartfelt confession, don't forget to like, share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more inspiring journeys of love, growth, and life lessons. Thanks for watching.